All right, let's talk some Sweet 16 here on Send It In. We talked about the Thursday games yesterday on the show. Let's dive in to the Friday games that we have upcoming in the Sweet 16. We'll start with Ole Miss and Michigan State. The Spartans are a 3.5-point favorite with a total of 143.5. Should be an interesting game. I've been looking to fade Michigan State really every game in the tournament. They've had some good matchups. They obviously got a 15 seed in Bryant. They got a Mountain West team in New Mexico who came out and got off to a nice start. And then Michigan State's defense, as it normally does, got them back into a game. They pulled away late. Now they got to go up against Ole Miss, though, who's been playing really good here the past month of the season. They also have a terrific head coach in Chris Beard as well. To me, this is probably a number-based bet. You know, I think if you're getting Michigan State at like 2.5, Spartans are probably the play. If you get anything over a possession, I think Ole Miss is probably the play in the game as well. So I like Ole Miss plus the 3.5. No player props that jump out to me in this game. I kind of like the under as well at 143.5. Both teams that are very good defensively. Still waiting for Michigan State to kind of have that game where they just can't make shots, kind of what we saw St. John's do against Arkansas. I think this could be the game where we see that. So I'll take an under 143.5. I like Ole Miss plus the points as well. Kentucky, Tennessee, for me, of all these Sweet 16 games, I think this is the toughest one to call. This is the toughest one to handicap. I could see this game going either way. Obviously, Kentucky has beaten Tennessee both times in the regular season. Even when Calipari was in Lexington, just something about this matchup has always given Rick Barnes and Tennessee trouble. Kentucky has also been very good this season against like defensive-minded teams that want to play at a slower pace, that are elite on defense. Kentucky's played pretty well against those kind of teams. This game really all comes down to Chaz Lanier. He's been awesome for Tennessee in their first two games of the tournament against Wofford and UCLA. He's going to really need to be good for them again, because outside of Ziegler and outside of Lanier, Gainey, who comes off the bench, there's really not a lot of scoring options for Tennessee. Kentucky, credit to them. They played a really good game against Illinois. They're kind of hitting their stride right now. If they're knocking down their threes against Tennessee, who is a very good defensive team, as we know, but will give up some three-point attempts, then Kentucky's got another chance to pull off the upset. So this game has gone, it was at 4.5. It went down to 3.5 a little bit. Now it's back up to 4.5. I think it's too tough of a game to call. So stay away. Maybe you'll get a good opportunity to live bet the game. The way that I think there's value in this game is the first half under, maybe even a full game under, as we'll also talk about with the Purdue-Houston game, which is also in Indianapolis. Remember, they're playing this game at the football stadium. They're not playing it at the basketball arena where the Pacers play. So the sight lines are going to be different. It's going to be an adjustment for both of those teams in Tennessee and Kentucky. First half unders in the Sweet 16 historically are usually a pretty good bet. Now you throw in this wrinkle that these college players have to play in an NFL stadium, a lot of them for the first time in their lives, and you got a great defensive team in this game in Tennessee. So I think first half under, full game under, 144.5, probably the way to go in Tennessee and Kentucky. Michigan and Auburn, this is interesting. Auburn's taking some money this morning. They're out to 9.5. Total is 153.5. So this game's pretty much being priced the same as Auburn and Creighton was. Auburn closed as a 9.5-point favorite in that game. I think this Michigan team is much better than Creighton is, especially on a neutral floor, and what Michigan's done this year in the non-conference. This is now the fourth SEC team that Michigan is going to play this season. We just saw them defeat Texas A&M in the round of 32. There's something about this Michigan team. I know, like, when you watch them with the eye test, they don't pop out at you. They've obviously won a ton of games this year by 4 points or less, but you got to give them credit for finding ways to win these games. And also, even if they lose a close game, that's going to help us if we take Michigan plus 9.5. I just think this is too many points. And I like the fact that I'm getting a Michigan team that it feels like is kind of playing their best basketball again right now. They're getting hot at the right time. Where Auburn just, it's not the same feel with the Tigers that we saw the first 25 games of the season. You know, they were struggling with Alabama State a little bit in the first half. They were tied with Creighton at halftime. Just Auburn, something's off with them. I think 9.5 is too many points, so I like Michigan in the game. And I think, again, the money line price that you're getting now that it's plus 350, I think that's too high. I think that's worth a bet as well. And then give me Houston. I'd lay the 8.5 against Purdue. Purdue's 2-point defense is one of the worst in college basketball over the last month. McNeese really wasn't able to exploit it. High Point really wasn't either. But Houston, with their physicality, how well they crashed the glass, I think they're going to be able to. And on top of that, you have to be able to guard the three-point line against Houston. They're a top 5 three-point shooting team in the country. Really impressed with the Cougars against Gonzaga. That was a game that a Kelvin Sampson team in years past would have lost. But I think that's what makes this Houston team different than the years past, is they can really shoot the ball and they can score to go along with their terrific defense. And then, like I mentioned, with Tennessee and Kentucky, I like the first half under in this game. These teams playing in a football stadium, and you got another great defense in Houston. So I like the first half under in that game, and I'd lay the points with Houston against Purdue as well.